Before I start this video, I have to ask you a serious question. Where do the fish live? Indices. And so today we're going to talk about indices. What are indices? Well, sometimes you'll see a number written like this. Let's say 3 with a little 4 in superscript above it. What this actually means is this is telling me that I've got this 3 and I'm multiplying it by itself 4 times. So what I've got here is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And do you know what the most common mistake is that people make? If you're saying to yourself or to the person next to you that sometimes people would look at that and say 3 times 4, the answer is 12, you are right. And you are not going to do that in this class. You are going to go, okay, there's a 3 there, there's a 4 there, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What's the answer to that? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. Now, we've got names for these two different parts of this little mathematical expression here. We've got this 3 here. That is called the base number. And that makes sense. It's on the bottom, so it's called the base. And this up here is called the index number. Index is the singular, and indices is the plural. So if I'm talking about more than one index, I'm talking about indices. Now there are other words for this as well. You might also see the word exponent, or you're probably familiar with power. Sometimes we'll say that's 3 to the power of 4. Another one would be order. Okay, so there are a few different words for that. We're going to use the index number in this course because that's what our textbook that says, and I guess that's, for whatever reason, the approved term. Okay, so how do we evaluate these? What if I had 2 squared times 3 to the power of 5? What would I do there? Well, I could, if I was going to write this out in long form, I would say that's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. 4 times 27 equals 108, so that would be evaluating that. For bigger numbers, you might need to use your calculator to do the final bit, but please don't put this part in. I want you to put this middle step in to show that you understand what's actually happening here to get you your final answer. I don't want you to go straight from here into the calculator to get that result. So there's a lot of common ones that you should probably get familiar with, like 2 squared, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6. They're very, very common ones that you'll find. 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the power of 4 is 16, 2 to the power of 5 is 32, and 2 to the power of 6 is 64. So you'll notice a pattern there. You'll notice that they are doubling each time, which is not a surprise because each time they're being multiplied by another 2. Things like 3 squared and 3 cubed, and even probably 3 to the power of 4 are good to know. We did 3 to the power of 4 there. So we know that they're 9, 27, and 3 to the power of 4 is 81 again. And even 4 squared, which is 4 fours is 16, or 4 to the power of 3, which is 16 times 4, which is 64. Simple things like that you should be able to do in your head. For bigger numbers, like 12 to the power of 6 or whatever, that's fine, use a calculator. But for simpler things like this, you should try and make it so that you know them just off the top of your head.